This is a very supportive environment for all children, cisgender, gender fluid, non-binary, trans.
Exactly. This is a journey that we are all on together.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things we want to see in And Just Like That, Season 2.
I am Che Diaz, your host and queer, non-binary, Mexican-Irish diva representing everyone else outside these two boring genders.
Woke moment!
And yes.
For this list, we're looking at questions the first season left unanswered, as well as plot points and character developments we hope they'll address in the Sex and the City sequel's second series. We couldn't help but wonder, what would you like to see in And Just Like That Season 2? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. What happens to Che's podcast? Che Diaz is initially introduced as Carrie's boss, founder and co-host of the painfully woke podcast XY and Me.
This is XY and Me, the podcast that talks about gender roles, sexual roles, and cinnamon rolls. All the roles I care passionately about.
It was a pure, unadulterated cringe fest that tried way too hard to feel relevant but often missed the mark. Anyway, at the end of the first season, Che announces that they're quitting to move to Los Angeles, leaving us pondering the fate of their brainchild.
And it's not just because of LA. I think that XY and Me did what I wanted it to do. And on to other things.
Is Carrie taking over or perhaps getting her own show? Podcast producer Franklin certainly believes she has what it takes. But based on Carrie's past hot takes, we imagine her podcast will have a very different vibe when she does take up his offer. We can only hope.
Well, anything's possible. The future's unwritten.
Number 9. More Sex and the City cameos, please. The first season of And Just Like That was sprinkled with throwback cameos, albeit some more obscure than others.
At a coffee shop? At my job? Where are you gonna hunt me down next, Carrie? In the showers at Equinox?
I swear this was a total coincidence.
Of course, we all recognized Big's ex-wife Natasha instantly. But it took a little brain-racking to recall Bitsy Von Muffling, and even Carrie's left scratching her head when she's approached by Susan Sharon at Big's funeral.
I'm back. The end. And we can work this all out when you have the bandwidth. It was nice to see you again.
Yes.
Ajay Mehta, who plays Seema Patel's father, appeared in the original too, but as a different character. Sex and the City boasted an array of colorful characters and guest stars who could show up in future episodes.
We're embarrassed of our parents.
So, Carrie, tell, is it him or us?
Oh, no, it's not you. You were both wonderful.
We already know one iconic ex who's making a comeback, but who else from Carrie's past would you love to see return? Number 8. More character development for Charlotte. Throughout Sex and the City, one of Charlotte's greatest aspirations was to get married and start a family.
That's our baby. I know it. That's really our baby.
She got all that by the series finale, and indeed, much of her story arc in the new series' first season revolves around her family life. However, it seems like Charlotte has much more to give as an individual, and we hope that Season 2 explores that further.
This dinner is too important. Right now, Lisa and I are mom friends, but I want us to be real friends. And they're an impressive couple. We are going to have to bring it.
They could definitely delve more into her friendship with Lisa Todd Wexley, or perhaps she'd consider returning to work since her kids are growing up.
So you know art. Yes, it's my passion. I used to run an art gallery a long time ago.
Speaking of her children, we're also curious to see how the writers handle Rock's storyline after they came out as non-binary.
I'm talking about the girl part.
What do you mean?
I don't feel like a girl.
Number 7. Less box ticking. Sex and the City has often been criticized for its lack of diversity and fair share of problematic moments. And Just Like That went to the other extreme, trying to right these wrongs.
I think I was just so worried about saying the wrong thing in this climate that I said all the wrong things.
I'm sure you didn't say all the wrong things.
You're right. I'll probably blurt out some new ones tomorrow.
Of course, we applaud them for their efforts in creating a more inclusive workspace and including more varied experiences in their stories. However, it often felt as though the writers simply wrote out a list of topical social issues and crossed them off as they wrote the scripts.
Hi, Gwen. Hi. I haven't seen you since Leo transferred to Dalton.
I'm not Gwen. but I know who you're talking about.
We hope that in season 2, rather than try and hit every box on a surface level, the writers will choose 1 or 2 subjects and give them the time, dedication, and thought they deserve.
One of the important takeaways I got from How to Be an Anti-Racist is if you see something, you have to speak on it. You have to call it out.
Well, that's very noble of you, even if a tad bit white savior complex. But the reality is you just inflamed a situation that was perfectly fine.
Number 6, Anthony and Stanford have unfinished business. As Anthony says at his and Stanford's wedding,
"It was not exactly love at first sight. But it turns out it was love."
And by the time we reunite with them in the spin-off sequel, they are bickering like the old married couple they are. But then Stanford suddenly takes off and announces he wants a divorce.
Well, fine, good, sayonara, but why the dramatic note? By the time you read this, I'll be in Tokyo. I mean, who is he, the lost Bronte sister?
He said he couldn't bring himself to tell you he was leaving face to face.
In reality, actor Willie Garson had sadly passed away, so his character had to be written off. However, surely this approach leaves the door open for Stanford's return. And couldn't they have found a more sensitive way to deal with the character's absence?
I got a letter too. He wants a divorce. I don't get it. We were so happy.
Also, what happens next? Will we hear about the divorce proceedings? Will Anthony return to the dating pool? And will Stanford and Garson finally get the send-off they actually deserve? Number 5, Nia Wallace's marriage and fertility struggles. We think we can speak for us all when we say we'd rather forget Miranda's first couple of encounters with her law professor, Dr. Nia Wallace.
My comment had nothing whatsoever to do with it being a black hairstyle. I knew that you were black when I signed up for this class. That was important to me.
You signed up for this class because I'm black?
However, the two soon become friends, and Miranda even becomes her confidant. Nia and her husband struggle with fertility issues, which creates tension in their marriage.
I have a good friend who went through hell with IVF. That's how I know.
Yeah, well, this is my second trip to hell. My first one didn't take.
Infertility and its broader impact still aren't talked about nearly enough, so we hope season 2 explores their journey further.
We're just not in the same place emotionally right now. So we decided to see how not being in the same place physically would feel.
We also hope we learn more about Carrie's no-nonsense real estate broker and friend, Seema. She is determined to live her best life, even if that doesn't align with certain expectations. Season 1 even teased a hot new romance with nightclub owner Zed. Number 4, Che. Che. A queer, non-binary Mexican-Irish character was a welcome addition to the cast.
I fully acknowledge that we are complicated, diverse beings here on this wondrous planet, all just striving to be our very best self.
Unfortunately, Che Diaz felt more like a one-dimensional caricature who primarily spoke in cliches and failed to win over audiences. Sara Ramirez's talents were also unjustly underused. Anyway, the writers clapped back at the criticism, saying that fans were just unhappy with the fate of Miranda's marriage.
There's always only one of us, never with a friend. Just one sad, non-binary character, or just one sad, trans character just wandering. I'm so sad and alone.
However, we think Che had a lot more to give, and we hope the writing in season 2 reflects that. Representation matters, but it must be done correctly. Of course, we're also keen to see how their relationship with Miranda develops.
I want you to come to LA. I'm sorry I didn't have time to do a whole song about it.
You want me to come to LA?
Of course I want you to come.
But here's hoping Che gets a second chance to make the right impression. Number 3, don't forget about Samantha Jones. Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker's infamous feud is well documented, and some of that iciness even slipped into their characters.
I told her that because of, what the book business is now, it just didn't make sense for me to keep her on as a publicist. She said fine and then fired me as a friend.
So while we shouldn't expect Samantha to join the Ladies for Cosmos anytime soon, that doesn't mean we have to write her off either.
Look, I understand that she was upset, but I thought I was more to her than an ATM.
You are. She was embarrassed.
So embarrassed she took a job and moved to London?
She and Carrie started texting in season 1 and even agreed to meet in London. According to showrunner Michael Patrick King, we can expect their digital interactions to continue in the second season. We also hope Carrie shares some great anecdotes from their European rendezvous. Perhaps something less intimate than her last Samantha story?
I remember this time that my friend Samantha Jones even pulled my diaphragm out with her bare hand because it got stuck.
Whatever they got up to, we're sure it was fabulous. This is Samantha Jones, after all. Number 2, Carrie's love life. After taking some time to grieve big, Carrie returns to the dating pool.
I imagine at some point you're gonna start dating again, right?
I mean, I'm not even thinking about that yet.
In the first season of And Just Like That, she tries online dating and meets Peter. The pair go on a few dates, but sparks don't exactly fly between them. In the final episode, we also see her share a steamy kiss with podcast producer Franklin. So, are we looking at a potential love triangle in season 2?
So, you know, every time I felt lost, I looked up and there you were, looking back at me.
Although it has since been revealed that John Corbett is returning as Carrie's ex-fiancé Aiden Shaw. SJP even teased a photo of the old lovers sharing a smooch. From back together to just a dream, many viewers are theorizing how Aiden might slot back into Carrie's life.
People fall in love, they get married, that's what they do.
Not necessarily.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Tell us more about Lisette. We just know Carrie's gonna strike up a friendship with her cool new downstairs neighbor.
I'm sorry for the home invasion, but just real quick, I'm a jewelry designer and I wanted to give you this.
I love a home invasion with what I'm assuming is free jewelry.
Yes.
Miranda's recovery. After going cold turkey, how will Miranda handle sobriety?
And I must say, I'm very proud of how you have stopped cold turkey.
Carrie's throwback fashion. We couldn't help but wonder what other vintage looks Carrie held on to. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Justice for Steve. This practically became the battle cry of season 1's viewers.
You know, you got me so freaking distracted when you're yelling at me about the squash guy. I left my wallet over with a pickle guy who used to be over in that corner.
Steve was done incredibly dirty by the writers who turned him into a shell of the man he once was. We can accept that aging comes with its own struggles and that not all marriages last, but did they have to make him such an oblivious and bumbling sad sack? We hope that season 2 sees Steve return to his happy-go-lucky goofball self as he rebuilds his life as a single man.
You don't think that I'm enough, that I'm kind of enough, and then I'm not enough again. And I'm always there, you know, hanging in there for us.
Sure, we're curious to see how his and Miranda's relationship evolves, but we hope Steve is more than just a footnote in her chaotic story arc this time. We'll say it again, justice for Steve.
You are such a wonderful, wonderful person. Don't you maybe want to find someone at some point?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.